Instead of building my rental portfolio with a house here, a house there, a house here, a house there, I would definitely go the multifamily route because I would rather be able to watch my money.
Yeah.
Like I want it all centralized in one location. If I got a problem, I need to go over there and handle it. I don't need to be going, 30 minutes apart trying to collect rents when I can go right here to this quad or this 8plex or whatever just to get more money. So me personally, when I get into multifamily, that's how I'm doing it.
All right, welcome back, Bootstrappers, to part 2 of my conversation with Kelley Parker, aka KP the Builder. Now, for those of you who have not listened to part 1, I encourage you to listen to part 1, where Kelley talked about his journey into real estate, and he gave us some great insight into the concept of wholesaling, particularly for those who want to get into real estate and wholesaling be a way of doing so. The second part of our conversation, we want to actually go talk about the next level of real estate investing. And Kelley, I know, like I said, you've been doing wholesaling for many years, but you and your partner, Gene Johnson, have been really the pioneers of this new concept where you talk about building homes and creating your own inventory. And I think that's a very intriguing concept because most of us would never have thought of building homes for ourselves, either for us personally or investors. But let's talk there, right? Why do you feel that building homes is the next new wave of real estate investing?
Well, there's a couple things why we think that way, because we've done the wholesale, we've been top agents, we've been regular, realtors and whatnot. So we constantly been watching the market over time, over the last 10 plus years. And we see that it's I want to say between 4 and 6, maybe even 8 million home shortage in America. And with what's going on with all these hedge funds buying all the properties and, building for rent communities and single family neighborhoods that are all for rent, you can't really buy anything. We realize that they're turning America into a nation of renters, right? And being that most of the real estate is so, bought up right now or just rented out or whatnot, it was like, it's a lot of land available. So that's the next phase. Take advantage of the land, learn how to develop it, and of course, build structures on it, whether it's quads, duplexes, single family, multifamily, etc. It's just learning how to build, because you always hear people talk about buy back the block. We too late for that. We got to build our own block. To combat gentrification, you have to combat gentrification with education. That's the only way we're going to be able to stop it. Because once it's for sale, it's too late. We should have never sold in the first place, like you and I always say.
Yeah.
Once you understand the actual value of something, then you can determine what you want to do with it, right? Because if someone leaves you some property and you don't know what to do with it, you're going to sell it to the highest bidder, the hedge funds. That's why they're able to attain so many properties, because us as a whole, and I'm not just talking about black people, I'm talking about people who acquire properties and didn't buy them, that are left with them and they don't understand the value. And they let them go to these hedge funds, or they sell them instead of some people who, bought their first home, want to level up. They're potentially going to sell that to somebody else buying their first home because they understand the steps in the process. But someone who has never bought real estate, someone pass away and leave you this, you're going to sell it. You may not even have intention to go buy more real estate. So that's why it was like, learn how to build, learn how to invest, and learn the actual values of real estate. And that's why we directed everything as far as what we're doing, from wholesaling to new construction, and educating everybody around us about that.
How has that transition been, though? I mean, I would imagine coming from a wholesaling perspective where, as you explained in part 1 of our discussion, wholesaling seemed to be a pretty simplistic type thing, right? Not a lot of overhead. Really, you just brokering the deal.
Right.
Well, new construction seems a little more difficult, right?
See, it didn't go from wholesale directly to new construction. Because when we were wholesaling some of these deals, we kept some of them. We actually, once we built up our own capital, we started acquiring these, renovating them, and selling them ourselves, and understanding the actual process and cost of what it cost to actually do these things. So we started getting more in line with where we wanted to go. We always knew that we wanted to be developers and builders and, just take raw land and turn it into a beautiful house. But we started in baby steps, wholesaling, fix and flip. I still have a remodeling company, so I understand what it costs to do certain things when it comes to building pretty much everything. And with those tools that we were, learning, not knowing that we would be using these this fast, it helped us like pivot to that. And truthfully, new construction is way easier than renovating.
I could imagine.
Way easier.
Yeah. So for someone that's new getting into real estate, and I know that in your academy, you guys have a lot of new students, people who've never probably even done anything with real estate, but you got those guys out there building homes now, right? How is that possible? How can you take someone that's new, never done real estate at all, never done wholesaling,
Right.
but yet you can teach them how to build?
We pretty much got the most thorough academy in the world when it comes to new construction. And it's not a GC course. Because a GC course, of course, you have to have a certain amount of money as far as capital. You're supposed to have a certain amount of training up under a GC. You're supposed to be in the field and understand all these typical ways to actually build a structure. But all that is out the door when you have people who have done everything that a GC done and more, and not afraid to share this information. Because a lot of places in America allow you, if you're going to build something that you're going to live in, you don't have to get a GC to pull permits. That's why our slogan is we build builders, because anyone can be a builder. Anyone can be a developer. You just have to take the proper steps to do these things. Now, GC, you're building for other people. So that's why when you have to get a GC involved, when you plan to build for other people or plan to actually sell what you're building. But if you're going to live in it, you can go build it right now and pull the permits yourself and just get the proper inspections through the city or municipality that you're building in to actually inspect everything that make sure that it passes all the inspections and, safe to live in. So most people don't even understand that. Like, you can save, if a GC is charging me 20% of my build costs, and my build cost is $300,000, that's $60,000 that I'm saving by learning this through our academy or any other academy and utilizing this information.
And do it yourself, yeah. And for those of our bootstrappers who don't know what the term GC means, GC stands for General Contractor.
Correct.
Right, which most, if you've ever bought a home, that's who typically sold you the home, was a general contractor, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And most GCs, they do charge, if you want to build for other people, most GCs will still manage that property for you, but they won't charge you the full 20% because you're managing as well, and you're doing a lot of their work by staying on top of the subs that come to do the work, because the GCs are just putting the people in the place to do the build. They're not doing the building. They're going to sit in the truck in the front yard and watch the house get built by just calling a couple people. And
So the GC is just really just a glorified project manager.
That's, in my opinion, yes. And for every GC out there, I mean, you ain't getting out that truck. So
Right. So your academy teaches people how to build for themselves if they want to build their own home,
Right.
which I think is a great concept, because you know what you want in your own home,
Right.
and or they can be taught on how to build for other people.
Yeah,
right.
But they just have to get a GC involved at that point to pull their permits and oversee that project while they do all the people connecting and stuff like that.
Now let's talk about from a monetary perspective. When we talked about how if you do a wholesale deal, how you can sit in the middle, they basically broker the deal off and you make a pretty good commission, right? We talked off camera about how some people making 30, 50 grand.
Yeah.
What does the money look like when you do a new build?
The new build game is beautiful because, like I always say, the deal is made when you buy, not when you sell. So it's just acquiring the land properly. If you already own land that's been left to you, knowing that you can use this land as collateral to get a loan and build. Like, most people don't even know that. Like, if I got some land, you don't have to sit here and raise $200,000
No,
to
you
go
don't.
build on it.
That's right.
You can use that land as collateral, and whatever capital you may have, you bring that to the table to kickstart your new build. So it's just getting educated, and those numbers typically when we do new construction, it's at least 70% LTV.
Wow.
Which is loan to value.
Yeah.
So if I know a house is worth, let's just say, 600,000.
Yes.
Right. I will get a loan up to 70% of that, which is 420,000.
Yes.
I think that's 70%.
Yes, that's right.
600.
Yep.
So I will be able to get a loan for 420. Now I'm going to make sure that I can build whatever I need to build and acquire that land if I need help acquiring it for less than that 420.
Yes.
Because some loans they'll give you 50% of the land acquisition.
Correct.
And 100% of the actual build cost.
Yes.
But it still has to be worth valued at 72% of what that home will be worth. And this is all asset-based loans.
Yes.
Meaning that they're lending so much more heavily on the asset than your personal credit, because their money is already covered from day one. Because they're lending you 70% on something that is worth
just more.
way more.
Yes.
Right. So they loan. It's a lot easier to get those type of loans than sometimes buy a car.
Yeah, and I guess too when you now taking that raw land and repurposing that into a bigger home, especially now in how is the market right now? With the market right now where prices of homes are going up, I would imagine that building from the ground up is very profitable because of just basically where home values are going.
Right. That is definitely true, especially here where we are in Georgia, around Atlanta. The property values here are more valuable than, of course, in South Georgia or something like that. And the closer you get to Atlanta, the more valuable price per square foot these homes are. Because down in Henry County where I'm at, I might get $220 a square foot for a resale down there. Sometimes $250 a square foot. Closer to Atlanta, I might have to build a smaller house and get way more value. So I can get $300 a square foot here in Atlanta. If I build a 2,000 square foot in this area of Atlanta, I'm getting 600,000.
Yeah.
But if I build a 2,000 square foot in McDonough, I might get 450.
I see.
350, you know, 400.
Yeah.
But it's less value for the same house. And we take it up a notch to Buckhead, we can get 800,000-900,000
For the
2,000
same-
square
same
feet
square
for the
foot.
same house.
So, but I'd imagine that the land, obviously, the cost of land is going to be more, right?
yeah.
You know, Buckhead versus Atlanta, Atlanta versus Henry County.
Right.
So you got to, obviously, you take that in consideration. But from your opinion, what's the? Obviously, most people think let me just go to Buckhead and build because I can make more money. Right. But where do you think for someone that's new? Where would you recommend that they start?
I would recommend outside of Fulton County. Yeah. And it's a couple reasons why. Of course, the value of land is more valuable here. So that's more out-of-pocket money that you have to put up from the beginning. And the process to get permits is a lot longer now because there's so many people building in these areas. So to build in Atlanta right now, my permit is probably going to take about 6 months, if not longer. In McDonough, it might take a month.
Wow.
So I can go down here and start building and be almost complete before you even get your permit.
Yeah.
So you just have to understand those type of things when building. Go to an area that you're familiar with where the values are there. Understand the permit process and start looking for property. Understand that you don't want to pay no more than really 10 to 15% of what the ARV is, which is the after repair or after build value for the lot. So if I see homes going for 500,000,
okay,
I don't want to pay no more than 50 to 65,000 or 75,000 for that lot.
That makes sense. Yeah. That makes sense. I like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you know that, if I know I want to build a $600,000 home, I should only pay about 60,000 for the lot.
60 to whatever 60 to 75?
Yeah.
For that lot.
Yeah. Okay. I see what you're saying. Yeah. So where do you think that so McDonough, you mentioned McDonough. What other markets, particularly in the metro Atlanta area, do you think that are great areas to look for land to buy?
If you want to sell or live?
Well, let's break it up, right? Okay. So let's look at for sale and for if you want to live there.
All right. To sell, I would say Henry County, of
Okay.
course. Pretty much anything outside of 285 on the south side. Now to live, if you got younger kids, which drives values, you're going to want to go up to Gwinnett. You're going to want to go up to Cobb. You want to go to where you got better schools or whatnot.
Understood.
Because down on the south side, which is Clayton, Henry, the schools aren't as good as they are up on the north side.
Correct.
And it's not because of the people, it's because of the way schools are graded.
Yes.
And we can't really dictate that right now because, our vote is our vote. And in areas where people are more disenfranchised, it seems to be a lot worse graded schools. When I first moved up here, just to go back to video number 1, when I talked about wholesaling, my first deal was on 1052 Hill Street. It was over in Grant Park, right?
It's a good area, Grandpa.
Great park. I mean, great area. But if my house, if that 1052 would have been 1051, which would have been on the opposite side of the street, my value wouldn't have been the same, and it's the same street.
Wait a minute. So you saying if it was on the same street, just
Different sides of the street, because this side of the street, I'm zoned for a charter school. This side of the street, I'm zoned Atlanta Public School. So my value for the public school is way less than the charter school.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's like that to this day. For those that don't know Atlanta, when you go up and down Moreland,
Yeah.
Moreland is a county line. The left side, if you're going north on Moreland, is Fulton County.
Okay.
The right side is DeKalb County. It's all city of Atlanta.
That's so true.
Yeah.
That is so
but
true.
But it's different values.
That
so
is
I
so
can't even use the left side for comps on the right side. I can't use East Atlanta for comps because that's in DeKalb.
That's so true.
Yeah.
Yeah, and me and my wife owned a home in East Atlanta. And you're so right, because we were part of DeKalb versus the city of Atlanta. Yeah. And I really never knew that. Even living over there, I didn't know that. Wow.
So it's like that all around metro areas. So whenever you run your numbers, even though it looks good on paper, you want to make sure that they're in the same school zone. Because I always say schools drive value more than anything else, more than amenities, more than proximity to places. It's the schools that really dictate the values of these homes.
So Kelley, how does someone, and I'm for sure y'all teach it in your course, so I'm not asking you to give me any information out of your course.
I give it all.
But how does someone find out this type of information? Because it's almost like you got to really be in the know to know that this side of the street is different from the other side of the street.
I learned that, like I said, when I first moved up here, because coming from Tallahassee, it is what it is. It's not that many schools. But up here, everything's so chopped up that you have to really look. If you go to realtor.com and scroll down and see these school ratings, if I'm at a bunch of 2 and 3 schools, my value not going to be where I'm at with a bunch of 5, 6, maybe even 10 schools. They can be in the same half a mile radius. But if my elementary school is a 2, and your elementary school is a 8, more people are going to want to move there. So they're going to drive the values up.
Yeah. Makes sense. So let's talk about, what do you think about multifamily, right? Because I know you guys do a lot of single family deals right now, but do you think that multifamily is a good play for someone that want to invest in multifamily property?
Me personally, I love multifamilies. I haven't had the chance to invest in it, but I've done enough research to appreciate it.
Yeah.
If I were to, instead of building my rental portfolio with a house here, a house there, a house here, a house there, I would definitely go the multifamily route, because I would rather be able to watch my money.
Yeah.
Like, I want it all centralized in one location. If I got a problem, I need to go over there and handle it. I don't need to be going, 30 minutes apart trying to collect rents when I can go right here to this quad or this 8-plex or whatever just to get more money. So me personally, when I get into multifamily, that's how I'm doing it.
Because you're looking for more doors, right?
Exactly.
You want the more doors. You got better economy of scale because you got more doors and things of that nature, right? Yeah. And that's even for building and for buying and hold. Would you
I would definitely, of course, do the build, but like I say, I would definitely buy and hold a multifamily unit that I can have someone manage or a couple people manage in one location.
Yes.
Because it's, how it is getting around Atlanta.
Yeah, absolutely.
Probably any other word in America.
Yeah. And I know you've always said something that stuck with me. You said You like real estate because my money has an address.
Yeah.
I like
definitely. It does. I mean, some people put their money in stocks and crypto and don't know where their money at.
Exactly.
If I put my money in real estate, you better believe I know where it's at, and I go check on it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, one aspect of investing that I want you to educate, and I know we can dive deeper into this type of stuff, but I want my bootstrappers to know we kind of just hitting the surface of this stuff.
Right.
But there's another aspect of real estate investing that I don't think a lot of people are talking about much, and that's private lending, right?
Okay.
And I know you guys deal with it a lot because you deal with private investors. And let me change the term. Instead of calling it private lending, private capital partners. Right. I like that term.
Yeah,
better,
I like that.
Right? Because when we hear the term lenders, we immediately think institutional players. Private capital partners is where individuals can be capital partners in your deals, right? Talk a little bit about how you guys have leveraged capital partners and how even our bootstrappers can possibly become capital partners in real estate deals.
Right. So I love that term. I'm gonna start using that instead of lenders. So the way that we view our private capital partners is, of course, we have to present something to them, whether it's a deal or what we've been able to do, and they see it, check our records and everything, and now they believe in us because we have the track record to actually go out here and do this. Now, for a new person, what I recommend you guys do, the new bootstrappers that's getting into this space, is to start calling around and seeing the requirements for these private capital partners and understanding what they're going to need from you, because if it's not solely credit based, then you need to know how much capital you have. They need to know how much capital you have in order to give you, a letter.
Yeah.
Showing you how much you can go out here and spend with their capital. Once you understand that, they're going to help you get all your ducks in a row to actually get out here and start getting this real estate through them. Because they're going to understand that you're smart enough to get out here and do your due diligence by getting your credit where it needs to be, and anything else, researching the location, because the money is not making the capital partner no money by just sitting in the bank.
Absolutely.
Or sitting where it's at.
Right.
So if you can bring them a deal that is appealing, that they can see the actual revenue in it, then it's going to make you look smarter. Even though you may be new, you're going to be able to analyze this deal and break down your analysis to the lender, to the private capital partner. So they will be able to understand it. Right. See, when Gina and I look at deals and bring them to our partners, they don't really question us because we've been doing it so long.
We got a track record.
We got a great track record. So for the new people, you just work on understanding what you want to do, where you want to do it, and start putting stuff on paper. But always reach out to them to see what is required from them to actually get out here and start doing this.
Yeah, I know as a private capital partner, I've actually partnered with some of your students on deals. And one of the main reasons why I was eager to do that is because I knew that they went through a training program that helped them understand what they supposed to be doing. I mean, we actually got one of your students, he's a brother down in Tennessee. He's actually building a triplex. Okay. Right? Cool guy doing great things with that triplex there. And so I don't think a lot of people understand that, right? That having access to capital partners, or even being a capital partner. Right. A lot of people don't realize that they can actually be a capital partner. So for me, it was easy because I may not want to be out there every day being responsible for the project, but if I can invest my capital in someone's deal, that's secured by the deal, I may get a less return than they are, which rightly so, because they doing a lot more work. Right. But I'm still getting a better return than if I left my money in the bank.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah.
And that's a great way to look at it for those that maybe want to become lenders or not lenders,
capital
partners. For those that may want to become those type of partners, understanding that it goes back to understanding the deal and the way you analyze it and understand that I'm putting this amount of money here and the value is this. So regardless, this money is covered by this, and I'm on all the documents. So ain't nothing, making sure you have all the proper documents. That's key.
That's exactly right. So where do you think the market is going right now? I mean, values are going up, interest rates are up right now. Where do you think the market is going?
I think, honestly, I think the market right now is the greatest time to actually buy real estate.
Yeah.
And the reason is it's not too many people buying right now. But as soon as those rates drop, it's going to be way more competition, way more people buying and driving that price even up higher. So I think right now is the time to buy. Because you can, what they say, you can, you date the rate.
Date the rate, yeah.
And marry the home.
That's right, yeah.
Right? So you're going to get married to what you love by securing this property and refinance it at a later date.
Absolutely, yeah.
Because these rates are all temporary anyhow.
Yeah, and rates, I don't think rates really make much of a difference. If you know how to analyze the deal, the rate really shouldn't make a difference, especially if you're an investor. One of the things that I hate a lot when I hear investors, quote unquote investors, complain about an interest rate. Because the first thing I'm saying, you can't be an investor if you complain about the interest rate.
You're supposed to be out of this loan in less than a year, so why are you complaining about a rate?
Absolutely.
This ain't a 30-year loan.
Absolutely, that's right. And if they've analyzed the deal well, they know that the deal is actually consuming the rate. It's already baked into the deal. So
exactly.
Yeah. Now, with the World Cup coming here in 2026 in Atlanta, obviously Atlanta, there's a lot of big things that a lot of people are expecting in Atlanta. I've even heard reports that they want to turn Atlanta into the Las Vegas of the South.
It's coming.
Do you think Atlanta is going to be an affordable place to live, primarily for the natives of Atlanta and primarily for Black and brown folk?
I think Atlanta will continue to be the Atlanta we all know it is, like a thriving place for Black and brown folks. But that cost of living is damn sure going to make a lot more entrepreneurs. It's going to make a lot more people that have to go get some second income, because this rate, the cost of living isn't going down nowhere. So you're going to either make more money or move.
Right.
So for all the locals, like Atlanta's Wakanda. And I never seen so many wealthy Black people in my life till I moved up here. And it's going to continue to be that way. Even with the World Cup coming, they plan on rejuvenating everything in Atlanta as a whole, but that's also going to increase the values of everything.
Correct.
So for all my Atlanta natives, buy your house now. Keep it, don't sell it.
Exactly.
Because the rate that is going to grow over the next couple years, you're going to make a lot of money, especially if you own it free and clear. So just make sure that gentrification hurts primarily people who rent. You can get outpriced extra easy when you don't own anything. So for the ones that do own something, don't worry yourself. Yeah, your taxes going to go up, but so is the equity. Just understand how you can pull money out of it to combat that. So just understanding it's what it is. And then Las Vegas of the South, we actually get to vote on the casino in Henry County in November.
See?
It's on the ballot.
It's coming.
So it's coming because I think we all going to vote for it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because we need them jobs.
Absolutely.
If they're going to increase the cost of living, they got to increase the cost of paying. So these type of things will create opportunities for people to go make more money. Why would they deny that when so many people can make so much more money with people from outside of our area coming to Atlanta to spend money, put them in our ecosystem, and boosting everybody up, because the World Cup sure going to do it. They had a soccer game in Orlando for one day. It brought in $30 million.
Wow.
Last weekend.
One day. Wow.
And imagine what they say the World Cup is 100 times Super Bowl.
Yes.
So imagine all the money that it's going to bring. So for everybody that's here, just get ready. Just do something creative, buy some real estate, buy some land, create some parking lots, whatever you need to do to get some of this money, because it's coming. Get in position.
Get in position, yeah. So Kelley, how can our bootstrappers connect with you, particularly with your Builders Academy and things of that nature? How can our bootstrappers connect with you?
Well, you can reach out to us online. Our website is buildingbuildersacademy.com, spelled out correctly. I'm on social media. My Instagram is Kelley, Kelley _ Parker. My Facebook is just Kelley Parker. I look like this on social media, so if you see this face, then you're at the right place. So we do have quite a few events. We do boot camps. We're going to start a monthly, not boot camp, but a bus tour. We're going to start in July, where we take people around to student properties every month. We currently do mixers.
Cool.
You're going to be involved.
Yeah,
Trust me.
Yeah.
We currently do mixers, and we have a membership, which is $29 a month. You can go to the website and check that out as well. It stays in our network. You get 2 free courses with that, and it's just a great opportunity to get this education.
Yeah. So I want to encourage all of our bootstrappers who are listening to this podcast. You want to connect with Kelley Parker, Gene Johnson, and the Construction Kings. If you're truly interested in real estate, these are the guys that you want to connect with, right? And I encourage you to get involved in the membership program to really that we all can learn more about why we should own real estate as an asset class. I don't care how much money you make, whether you are a successful person making a lot of money, or if you're someone young that's just trying to get your feet wet in life. Owning real estate, like my uncle used to always tell me, God bless his soul, he said, son, God ain't creating no more land.
At all.
Yeah.
Only them Arabs in Dubai.
right.
And that's what got flooded out.
Exactly.
Them trying to do that.
Right, trying to create more land.
Right.
See what I mean? So listen, Kelley, thank you, man, for joining us on today's show. A lot of wealth and knowledge. We could have dived into a lot of different things. And listen, trust me, we'll be doing other shows where we're going to dive deeper into some of the things that we talk about. But thank you for taking the time out to joining the Bootstrappers and educating my Bootstrappers on the art of real estate.
Thank you very much.
And so in closing, like we always say in closing, there's a phrase that we use as part of the Bootstrap show. You've probably seen it, the hashtag we do. So at the end, we close by saying, keep bootstrapping.
Keep bootstrapping. Let's do it again.
Keep bootstrapping.